Donald Trump was posting about making an entire civilization die. His words, not mine. Like literal nuclear annihilation for 90 million people. And because he said, suck my dick in 2019?
People don't give a shit about primaries, but it's the most impactful for changing the direction of the party. We have a unique opportunity. This is a gift. You have to receive this gift. You have to use this gift. They're not oblivious at all. They're cynical. They want to be the controlled opposition party, and that is the reason why they're attacking me. That's why you have to lock the fuck in. New Kyle Kulinski.
It's kind of
Brigadier General Kyle Kulinski. Let's go. Literally 57 seconds ago, no views whatsoever. We're in here, dude. We're in here watching as it comes out. We're in here watching Kyle Kulinski, the commander of Dark Woke, the commander of the Dark Woke militia before he makes these videos. Holy shit. It's still rendering.
kind of crazy right now to me. It kind of low-key feels like we live in a simulation as I'm witnessing our politics unfold, because look at this. This is so crazy. Fox News ran 5 different segments on
That was the first day. They've done like 10 more since then. It's crazy.
Hasan, the same day Trump announced he's going to wipe out Iranian civilization. This is not a joke, y'all. This is not a joke. This is actually... So look at this. We have one top left. Dem Michigan Senate candidate to rally with anti-Israel streamer. By the way, that makes him sound based as shit. Like that most of the country looks at that and they go, oh, cool, anti-Israel. I'm down for that. The other one on the top here, Hasan Piker's history of anti-Semitic remarks. Not enough to keep some Dems away. Well, that's bullshit. He's only said a quadrillion times that he's anti-Zionist, not anti-Semitic, and he's made countless arguments defending Jews. Dem candidate to rally with controversial streamer. Again, that makes him sound cool. This other one says Michigan Senate candidate plans to rally with streamer who made anti-Israel comments. Again, making him sound fucking badass. And then we have this one. Why are Dems appearing with Hasan Piker? And you have fucking Chip Roy with his 2 first name having ass and his bald ass head sitting there fucking going against Hasan. And then the other thing I find funny is that they're using all these good pictures of Hasan, right? They're like, here's a picture of Hasan looking like a hunky dream, and he's anti-Israel and controversial and edgy. They don't know what they're doing. They're accidentally doing a favor for us, okay? This is heightening the contradictions and the difference between fucking Mallory McMorrow and Abdul El Sayed. Hasan is campaigning for Abdul El Sayed, the real lefty in the race. This is letting everybody know, yes, this is the guy you want. They are fucking up. Guys, they're doing the Republican version of the Pied Piper strategy. Remember that? When Hillary Clinton ran and the Democrats purposely propped up Trump because they felt like, oh, we'll easily defeat this guy, so we want him to be the one we run against, so let's pretend like, oh, we're most scared of him. Oh, he's terrible, right? And then what ended up happening? Trump was the nominee. Trump ended up beating Hillary and getting to the White House. What they're doing here is, can you believe this crazy guy Hasan, bro? Look at the stuff he says. Look at what he does. I can't believe he says this. This is crazy. And then not realizing you're doing that because you think, oh, this guy's so horrible and you'll tar Abdul El Sayed in association with him. But in reality, it's actually helping. It's actually fucking helping you dumbass freaks. And they don't understand that. What they don't get is, like, they think, oh, we'll go after the easiest targets on the left and try to tar all Democrats with the left-wing stuff. So, like, look at this thing fucking Rashida Tlaib said, or Ilhan Omar said, or AOC said. Look at this thing fucking Hasan Piker said. And they think like, aha, we got him, guaranteed to win now. But what you don't understand is, it's like a reverse Trump type thing where left-wing ideas are actually liked. They're actually popular. When you show Hasan talking about we need to fucking tax all the billionaires or shove them in the gulag, people are going, hell yeah, brother. That's what they're thinking. When he's talking about Medicare for all and free college and a living wage and ending the wars and taxing the rich and arresting the Trump regime thugs and all the good stuff, they think like, look at how extreme that is. But Americans listen to that and they go, I fucking love that. Finally, somebody's saying some real shit. Finally, somebody's saying something different. When somebody says Benjamin Netanyahu's a war criminal, he should have been motherfucking arrested years ago. That's something everybody, oh yeah, absolutely.
It is pretty funny that they constantly go, look at how bad this guy is. And none of these Democrats that, like all of these Democrats that you fucking despise hate him. And the only Democrats that you find palatable love him and constantly do appearances alongside him. Like, it is pretty funny to do that. Obviously, like, you know, yeah, we got our own lane here, but it's so funny to be like, yeah, the most popular politician in the country, Bernie Sanders, who also happens to be Jewish too, is defending Piker. Like, what do you mean? Like, how do you think that's a coherent narrative that's going to undermine whatever the fuck I'm trying to do here? When you keep doing that, most people are going to be like, oh, wait, what the fuck? I love Bernie. I didn't know who this guy was, but you're saying he's an anti-Semite, but Bernie's his favorite politician? What the fuck is that? You know?
Absolutely. I fucking agree with that completely. And so it's backfiring. And by the way, let's be serious here. This is Donald Trump is literally destroying the entire country.
Yes.
Destroying the world, if we're being serious. An illegal and offensive war waged against Iran, a country that didn't attack us, is not a threat in any way, shape, or form. Doing it with Benjamin Netanyahu, the axis of Epstein, is what we're talking about here. Destroying the global economy, inflation going up, unemployment going up, gas prices skyrocketing, grocery prices skyrocketing, no idea how to open the motherfucking Strait of Hormuz, ICE rounding up innocent people, shoving them in concentration camps, authoritarianism skyrocketing. And here we are, and instead of talking about any of the Trump shit, they're going, can you believe this edgy streamer said something edgy in fucking 2019, bro? Can you believe that? They did the RNC research account the other day, tweeted Hasan from like 2019, telling some like Vietnamese, or some old Vietnamese immigrant lady who said some right-wing shit to suck his dick. And they were like, oh, can you believe he said, like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? They're fucking up. Because in the same way that when liberal media attacked Trump and tried to portray him as uncouth, it kind of helped him. The inverse is happening now. You're trying to portray these like leftists as uncouth, but when people actually listen to what we're saying, it's funny, it's edgy, it's interesting, and there's also some there at the core of it, because we're arguing for good politics that will improve everybody's life. Hasan was at the thing with Abdul El Sayed, and he was saying the exact right thing. He was going, every single motherfucking dollar we spend to blow up a little girls' school in Iran is a dollar that does not go to your healthcare, does not go to your education, does not go to free school breakfast and lunch for kids, does not go to university.
It's, in some ways, it low-key is the Trump method, right? The problem, of course, is that we're in the phases within the Democratic Party where like liberals are trying to do what they did, what the Republicans tried to do to Donald Trump. And because Donald Trump was inevitably backed by Fox News, which is the primary place where all Republicans get their news from, it worked out at the end, right? There was a force where he could whip the ranks and basically make the party, like remake the party in his own image. Given the new media environment that currently exists, we also have that opportunity. Because the days of just like exclusively getting your information from CNN, New York Times, MSNBC, and all these other outlets is gone, right? It's gone. It's over. A lot of people tune into independent media. There's a lot of organic momentum on the independent media side. So we do have a serious opportunity to remake at least significant aspects of the Democratic Party, the only opposition party that has viability without like having to fight for ballot access in every goddamn state, right? Like we have that opportunity to run people and build a movement that way and lean into those victories.
Child care. Every single dollar is a fucking waste. So they're saying we got to cut healthcare for everybody. But by the way, give me 400 billion DZACs for my illegal war. Well, how about you suck my nuts from the back skis? How about that? So good luck, guys. Good luck. I actually low-key, I kind of like it. The more they go after him, I think the better off we are. They're trying to make Hasan like the left-wing Rush Limbaugh. But the problem is, Hasan says things that are true and correct. And Rush Limbaugh is a vile, disgusting bigot who's wrong about everything and does nothing but suck the dick of the Epstein class, back when he was alive, of course. You're just not going to be able to get Hasan on that. If you actually have beliefs and you know what you stand for and you know what you believe in and you make the argument, nobody cares about some stupid fucking gotcha politics bullshit.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Oh, you said something that was fucking...
The only people that quote unquote care are people who disagree with the actual movement, right? And they're doing that in a very cynical way where they're like, oh, well, I would agree with you if you were kinder. It's like, okay, point to a kinder person that has the same exact politics that you agree with. You can't, right? You can't, because you don't want to fucking say that you disagree with this objectively popular movement. And that's why I always say it does go back to Israel in many instances. There are a lot of people who have conditioned themselves into thinking we have to support the state of Israel. Okay. And they don't want to openly say it now. They used to. That's why I always say, like, go back to any of these fucking chirpers and key search on their profiles, Israel, Gaza, Palestine, genocide. Okay. Key search any of those words. And you will find that in the early days, in October 2023, they were much more forthcoming about their opinions on Hamas, about their opinions on Palestinians, what they deserve, blah, blah, blah. And slowly but surely, they petered out if they didn't altogether delete their takes, right? But that's what it is. Right now, the people that just keep fucking chirping are doing so because they think this is the only viable way to yell at someone who is a critic of Israel without openly positioning themselves as a supporter of Israel, because even the biggest, most annoying centrists on the timeline have given up. They realize it's undeniable. This is not working. And yeah, it's always the same shit. You're not helping your cause, a person who opposes your cause. That's precisely what it is. It's always a guy who opposes your cause that tells you this is not helping your cause. It's not a secret. I can be very vulgar. I'm very passionate about the things that I speak on, okay? Some of these things are very intense, okay? Some of the things that I speak on are intense subjects. Like, there are people dying. We're talking about genocide, things like that. Yeah, every now and then I'm going to pop off and tell someone to suck my cock, okay? It's going to happen.
Like, who cares? Who gives a shit? And by the way, you also can't do this when fucking Donald Trump is who you worship. Donald Trump was posting about making an entire civilization die. His words, not mine. Like literal nuclear annihilation for 90 million people. And you're going to fucking clutch your pearls because he said, suck my dick in 2019? I can't with these people. But go ahead.
What is this? What is
Keep
this?
going.
You keep sending
Shout
this
out
link.
to Mario number 4 here, because he shows a thing of MAGA going, terrorist to Hasan, and then not a terrorist under Trump saying, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. These people are absolutely ridiculous. All I have to say is keep going, bro. Keep going. Keep going after Hasan. Keep going after Abdul El Sayed. Michigan, you better go vote for Abdul, man. Y'all better go vote for Abdul. We need lefties to win some more, because the only way we're going to stop this war, the only way we're going to fight back against the 1%, the only way we're going to arrest the Trump regime and the Epstein class is to have us in power.
Yeah. My point is, I'd rather always be honest with you and always fight for truth and justice while still being vulgar than be a civil defender of these current unjustifiable constructs, these current the current state of violence and injustice that exists. Okay? For many on the liberal side in the media, and for many people, obviously on the Republican side, they would rather maintain a civil posture. Republicans have already dropped the civil posture, obviously. There is a double standard there. They only hit that back on civility when it comes to people in their left flank, but that's what it is. It's bullshit. Yeah, Olivia Reingold is complaining. Abdul Al-Sayed, who is Muslim, walks a fine line on the Jewish state. On Tuesday night, he told the crowd, as he does often, that his problem is not with Jews. All of us love and revere Jewish folk, our Jewish neighbors, the faith of Judaism, he said, hands outstretched. Later that night, in a makeshift spin room assembled by the campaign, he rebuffed my question on whether he believes in Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state. What do you mean by Jewish state? He retorted, narrowing his eyes. If you can't answer that question, I'm not going to answer it. For someone who often waves around his respect for Judaism, he seemed unaware of something elementary. Judaism is not only a religion, but a people with a long-standing connection to Israel that runs its prayers, traditions, and history. Ryan Grimm said, the rule is if you choke in the moment, you don't get a do-over in an article. It sucks. I've been there. You just have to eat the L and do better next time. Not whatever this is. It is funny though, because, it's funny because she also misquoted Abdul. And there's also this like weird, there's this like weird thing where she's like narrowed his eyes. He didn't do that. It's on fucking video. Abdul Al-Sayed, who is Muslim. One thing I'll say about this latest attempt at manufactured controversy is that while it's clearly fueled by gross racism, it's important we never let it become sectarian, because this is the precise sandbox these assholes want to play in. Mopey, sectarian, solipsism is all they have. Free press is best understood as me times, as is all of Barry Weiss's output, manufacturing scenarios of self-victimization while their patrons worth $400 billion fund a dozen Barry Weiss clones to run around contriving their own low-stakes scenarios of oppression. Incidentally, hats off to the guy who rebranded an ethno-supremacist state premised on ethnic cleansing, dispossession, apartheid, constant colonial migration, and mass killing as Jewish self-determination. It sounds so left-coded and liberatory and benign. And yeah, for the record, this was caught on video, so it's really funny that she's like lying about how this how this took place. But I will say it does. I mean, it does, like, I don't know. I just get secondhand embarrassment from the Olivia Reingold stuff. Like, anytime she rears her head up on the timeline to do something, it gets universally dunked on. Abdullah Sayed, who is Muslim, narrowed his eyes Mohammedanly and contorted his face into the shape of the sword of the Saudi flag before retorting Islamistly, Allahu Akbar, Sister Olivia Reingold, and peace be upon Muhammad, Allah's truest messenger, and curse the non-believers. Yeah. What do you mean by Jewish state? There are different answers to that question. It can mean a homeland where Judaism plays a special/cultural role. It can mean a system of Jewish supremacy at odds with the basic fundamentals of liberal democracy and universal rights for all. You don't get to attack him because you choked, or perhaps more likely, because you've never even had the curiosity to interrogate these basic ideas you've built your little brutish career around. Yeah, he was standing there Muslimly. I mean, she did literally say that. Abdullah Sayed, who is Muslim, my problem is not with Jews, he said brownly, stretching out his hands out, presumably in the direction of Mecca. I gathered my courage and timidly asked if Israel had a right to exist as a Jewish state. His eyes, dark as crude oil, narrowed, Jafar-like, and an Islamic grin. It's just like, it's so fucking clear. Yeah. Could you clarify your question, he asked in a wily and tricky manner. The adhan could be, the azan could be heard in the wind along with many mysterious yet alluring Korean scents. Yeah, it's like as soon as he speaks, Senate hopeful Abdullah Sayed claims he's running on affordability. So why did he just appear on stage with anti-Israel radical Hasan Piker? Much of what I saw felt more fitting for a MAGA rally, only instead of immigrants or trans people, the target was Israel. Yeah, I wonder why we would be talking about Israel, because it's a pretty fucking profound litmus test for who is brave enough to say the fucking truth and actually represent the interests of the masses, and not just the base of the Democratic Party, but just like the masses of the American population at this point, and who is a corporate stooge terrified of saying the fucking truth that people want to hear. It's a great litmus test. It was a litmus test in 2024. The Democrats failed it, and it's still a fucking litmus test. It's become even more perverse that the Democratic Party is not responsive to this question, right? And for the record, that brings me to one of my stories I must talk about today, and that is that the Democrats have congregated once again in person. The DNC got together and made some decisions. Okay? The DNC got together and made some decisions. One of those decisions was, of course, on AIPAC. We're going to be talking about that. Let me find it real quick. Here it is. DNC committee shoots down resolution condemning AIPAC. I said, Lamount, 90-10 issue for the base and 1090 for our representatives. I wonder why. DNC panel rejects AIPAC-specific resolution, advances broader measure condemning dark money. A Democratic National Committee panel voted on Thursday to reject the resolution condemning the growing influence of dark money and corporate-backed outside spending in Democratic races, particularly the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, also known as AIPAC. At the DNC spring meeting in New Orleans this week, the Resolutions Committee voted to kill the push, which would have been non-binding, as scrutiny over the pro-Israel lobby grows amid the midterms. Okay? The use of massive outside spending to support or oppose candidates based on their positions regarding international conflicts or foreign governments raises concerns about undue influence over democratic debate and policy making, potentially constraining elected officials' ability to represent the views of their constituents, reads the resolution submitted by Florida DNC member Allison Minerly, pointing out AIPAC in particular for spending some $14 million in the Illinois Democratic primaries last month. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, who was once an AIPAC donor, condemned the group after the primaries, joining a growing number of Democrats once supportive of AIPAC who have turned on the political powerhouse over its involvement in elections this year. While the panel on Thursday voted to recommend a broader resolution condemning the influence of dark money in the 2026 Democratic primary elections, it did not specifically call for AIPAC contributions to be rejected. though the attitude was largely implied. Notice how it's just a messaging condemnation. Internally, it's non-biting, and even then, they don't want to say it. They're spiking the fucking football, folks, because this is what they care about. There's what do you want them to say? What do you want the Democratic Party to say? What do you want the DNC to say more? That they care more about Israel than they care about your needs. They care more about Israel's demands than they care about you. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy to do this in this moment where it's, again, every poll has shown over and over and over again that this is a 90-10 issue for Democrats. 90-10 issue for Democrats. This isn't October 2023 any longer, right? Obviously, we've been there. This community, many of you have been there because I've been talking about this shit for years. Many of you saw me talk about this and maybe changed your minds at some point, maybe in 2021, maybe even before then. But like, this has been an ongoing problem in American politics, one that Ilhan Omar famously called out and was yelled at by both the Democrats and Republicans way back when. But that's gone. That pressure is gone, at least in the public. The public no longer believes this nonsensical smear campaign, this fucking bullshit, right? At this point, it's abundantly clear that voters want them to distance themselves from Israel and that doing so would actually help them with elections. That they still won't is a testament to the Israel lobby's influence, which deserves much more attention. Okay? That's it. They can't even commit to a non-binding messaging agreement. What more do you want? Employees vote against cutting their salaries in half. I mean, true. If we don't participate in these fucking primaries, listen, I've done door knocking, especially during primary season, okay? Even in a general election, right? Even for the presidential election, people don't give a shit about primaries, but it's the most impactful for changing the direction of the party. We have a unique opportunity because the moment is here, okay? The moment is now, I promise you, unlike ever before, where people have an appetite for change, okay? There is no, like, this is a gift. You have to receive this gift. You have to use this gift to show people, look, these fucking guys are going to lie, cheat, and steal. They're going to try to find the best possible message for you. You have to reward the people who have been there. You have to actually lean into the people that are going to be honest and represent your interests and not the interests of corporate donors and not the interests of a foreign lobby. That's it. Mallory McMorrow is a great example of this. Someone who is trying to desperately find the perfect message. But when you try to craft the perfect message, when you're trying to win an election, okay, all that focus tested nonsense, it shows that you don't have backbone, right? That's what it is. That's why I keep stressing the importance of going out and doing your very best to canvass for these candidates, to door knock for these candidates, to phone bank for these candidates, to fundraise for these candidates, and do everything you can to put as many anti-corporate Democrats as possible, as many left-flank candidates as possible, and put their asses in those seats and forcibly change the makeup of this party. Okay? Because they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. As a matter of fact, Democrats are much smarter than the way they present themselves. The party as an institution is absolutely not oblivious. Okay? They're not oblivious at all. They're cynical. They want to maintain the controlled opposition framework. Okay, they want to be the controlled opposition party. And that is the reason why they're attacking me and attacking candidates that are representative of that left flank that will force the rest of the Democrats to have to respond to more public pressure from their constituents who go, why the fuck can't you be like Zoran? Why can't you be like Abdullah Syed? Why can't you be a real fighter? Okay, that is the real threat for many Democrats who are, old, corrupt, calcified in their positions, that just want to sit down and collect checks and put your interests last. Back in 2021, I went to Ohio to campaign for Nina Turner when she was running for Congress in that special election. I asked AOC about how Israel was beginning to intervene in primaries then to stop the left. This happened before October 7th. Exactly. That's why the Warrenite wing, even though Warren actually supported Graham Plattner in Maine. That's why the McMorrows of the party are also very dangerous in many respects. In some races, a Mallory McMorrow style candidate will be the best possible candidate. Make no mistake, will be far greater than the rest of the field, right? If Mallory McMorrow is running against Henry Cuellar, I'm with her all the way. But when there is an opportunity, when there is a real opportunity out there for someone like Abdul El-Sayed, of course you have to take that, right? And I'll tell you this, if Abdul El-Sayed was running against just Haley Stevens, it would be a blowout, okay? It would be a no-show race, basically, for Abdul El-Sayed. Haley Stevens is obviously a charisma void. It would be a fucking landslide, Plattner-style condition, okay? If Abdul El-Sayed was running just against McMorrow, it would be a much tougher race, I'll admit, but he would still win because McMorrow would reposition herself as being, someone who is more sympathetic to Israel, to be able to, get as much support from AIPAC adjacent donors to the best of her ability to win that race. And it would eventually expose the differences between these two candidates. Okay. 100%. But the race we have ahead of ourselves for Abdul El-Sayed in the primary on August 4th is one where there is the Haley Stevens, the ultra conservative Democrat that is super pro-Israel, and the McMorrow that is positioning herself as like the modest, moderate adjacent, moderate friendly, Democratic Party backed, progressive-ish candidate versus Abdul El-Sayed, who is the disruptor in the race, who is the true left voice. That's precisely the reason why Chuck Schumer has quietly said that she'd be fine with McMorrow winning, recognizing that Stevens is not going to win, right? That's why you have to lock the fuck in